Well, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. I'm your host, Chris Greene, Director of Network Expansion, and we certainly appreciate your time for tuning in, as we do every week. So are you in the mood to celebrate? Because we certainly are here at Avoya Travel, and we're celebrating travel advisors all month long, because May is all about travel advisors, and we certainly love them. We know travel advisors are the real star of the show, and all of our resources are designed to put them front and center with clients, armed with the industry's top resources to assist in closing more sales, generating more commissions, and helping you hit your goals that much faster. And speaking of great travel advisors, we have one joining us today as our featured guest here in just a few moments. Abbey Mopsick, owner of Abbey's World Travel, LLC, an independent agency in the Avoya Network, will be our first of several members of our network that we highlight this month. And I can't wait to chat with Abbey here very shortly about all things travel. We will also be spotlighting some of the top stories in the travel industry this week, including Azamara christening their newest member of the fleet. We'll look at the various cruise lines and where they are as far as getting all of their ships back in service, starting to see some great news there. And we'll see who's leading the pack as far as that's concerned. And since it is Cinco de Mayo, speaking of celebrations, we'll share some exciting details on what is shaping up to be a very busy summer for travel to the Yucatan Peninsula. All of those stories coming up shortly in our Eye on the Industry feature. Every week, we keep hearing stories about pent-up demand, amazing sales stats, discussions on potential record years in leisure travel. So I have this question for you. What are you waiting for? I know you don't want to miss out on this surge in travel, and I know that Avoya Travel has the best-in-class resources that can help you take your existing business to new levels. Live leads, elite technology, an amazing marketing resource center with assets that can be customized to your branding, ongoing professional development, and the strongest vendor relationships you're going to find. So reach out and put in that request today at avoyanetwork.com. Let's get you connected with an affiliation specialist who can answer all of your questions and assist with getting you into the #1 network in leisure travel, and that's Avoya. That's the Avoya Network. We'll make sure we pass along all of our contact information at the end of today's program. All right, so let's do this. Let's kick off today's On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update, with some industry highlights in our Eye on the Industry feature. Azamara has just increased in size by 25% by adding its fourth ship to the fleet and the first one to join since Sycamore Partners took ownership of the cruise line back in early 2021. The Azamara Onward is now the fourth ship in the Azamara fleet, as it was christened in Monte Carlo, Monaco, and then sailed out on its maiden voyage, which they're on right now. The ship was previously the R-Class Pacific Princess, which brings Azamara's fleet of former R-Class ships to 4. Now, its godmother is Beth Santos, the founder and CEO of Wonderful, a business that connects women who travel to educational resources and to each other. Ms. Santos said at the ceremony, christenings are not just about introducing a new ship into the world, but giving it a purpose and a path forward for the ship, and certainly, but for all of us. We stand together after 2 years of pauses. We take the lessons that we've learned, the hard ones, the easier ones, the ones that have made us laugh, the ones that have nearly broken us, but they all played a part in carving us into the people we are today. We pack them into our suitcases. We propel ourselves onward into a world that's better for all of us. The christening celebration also included trapeze artists, local musicians, and close to 100 guests. And I think this is great news for the travel advisor community, as Azamara has a great product. It certainly resonates with guests. They love those overnights in many of the ports that make up some of the best Azamara itineraries. And now that they're out from underneath the Royal Caribbean umbrella, I think this brand will get the attention it deserves. And it certainly looks like they're on a growth phase. So we'll continue to follow this story. And we thank Travel Weekly for some of the information that we just shared. This next story I also sourced from Travel Weekly, and the headline really grabbed my attention. They're back, it said. Most cruise ships are now in service, and Carnival Cruise Line was able to chalk up a major milestone for the travel industry as we start to emerge from this COVID crisis, announcing that all 23 of its ships are again sailing. The last of the ships, the Carnival Splendor, sailed Monday from Seattle on its way to Alaska. Norwegian will also mark this milestone later this week, with the last of its 17 ships enter service when the Norwegian Spirit leaves Hawaii for Tahiti on Saturday. Royal Caribbean hopes to have all the ships in the water by the end of the month, MSC will get its last ship in service in early June when it leaves out of Venice. And Princess Cruise Lines, as of this week, will have 80% of its ships back in service, with the final 3 ships coming back online in September. Just another positive sign about the future of our industry, and we're very excited with the increased options and availability for clients. Again, this is a story we're going to keep a close eye on. And finally, given the fact that today has become such a holiday to celebrate, Cinco de Mayo, that we wanted to share a story about travel to Mexico and the Yucatan Peninsula for the summer. Resorts in that area are expected to reach 90% capacity this summer. This according to an article in the Riviera Maya News, and quoting from Quintana Roo Tourism Promotion Council Director Dario Ocampo. We're anticipating an excellent summer holiday season. We're going to maintain our figures starting in July and into August. Will be between 80 and 90% full. Going on to say Mexico is transitioning to an endemic state of COVID-19, which gives visitors great confidence. Now, earlier this week, their tourism minister said 5.2 million international tourists arrived in Cancun by commercial airlines between January and March, so the first quarter of this year. And that was an increase of 138% compared to the same period last year. The first quarter totals were just 7% below, I should say, the numbers of arrivals in the first quarter of 2019. So starting to get that close to, getting back to those pre-COVID numbers. Preliminary data suggests nearly 16 million air seats would be available to Cancun in 2022, and that's a 9% increase from those totals recorded in 2019. Again, great news about travel to an area that Avoya is very strong in. In fact, our Avoya Travel Land Forum just wrapped up, and I'm hearing just amazing things. They had a great time at the Hilton Cancun, and many of our advisors in the network are staying in that area for a few days to explore more resorts. If the idea of selling all-inclusive vacations appeals to you, make sure you get that request in soon so you can capture your part of what is expected to be a big summer for travel. Well, no doubt about it, we love travel advisors, and what better month to express that appreciation than May during Travel Advisor Appreciation Month. In my heart, I still consider myself a travel advisor, even though I'm 8 years now removed from selling travel to clients. But once it's in your blood, it's hard to get away from that mindset. Thankfully, with my job being the director of network expansion, I get to participate in the process of helping advisors achieve their travel advisor goals and dreams every day. And I hope we get a chance to help you too, because with your talent and entrepreneurial drive and the exclusive resources available to those in the Avoya Network, the sky is really the limit. Speaking of amazing travel advisors, we're kicking off our month-long celebration with one of the best. Abbey Mopsick, owner of Abbey's World Travel, knows her stuff, and we're so fortunate to have Abbey joining us today for On Deck with Avoya to discuss escorted tours, what she's hearing from clients, and her thoughts on the future of our industry. So let's welcome in our featured guest this week for On Deck with Avoya, Abbey Mopsick, owner of Abbey's World Travel LLC, an independent agency in the Avoya Network. Abbey, so great to see you virtually and have you on our show today.
Thank you for having me, and it's good to see you again.
Great. So Abbey, before we really dig into everything, can you give me a little information about your background and how you ended up being a member of the Avoya Network for 10 years now, right?
Yes, it's 10 years this year. And actually, I was in a different field. I was a respiratory therapist for 30 some odd years, got tired and burned out. So I walked into a travel agency in local one day, and I was looking to go somewhere for a vacation. And she said, you know what? I think I can use you as an agent. And I worked with her for quite a while. She sold the business, and through a friend, I found Avoya, and I've been with them now for 10 years.
You're really doing well too. I mean, congratulations on all of your success. Abbey, tell me where your love of travel stems from, and why do you consider that so important, not only for yourself, but in helping others experience that dream too?
My love of travel, I've always wanted to, since I'm little, always wanted to see the world, and this is a great way to do it. And I think it's very important for everybody because you get to learn different cultures, different cultures, history. You meet a lot of different people, and I think it's very educational.
Did you get a chance to travel much as a child, or when did you really get a chance to start to fulfill that dream of seeing the world?
Basically, when I started in this travel agency, I didn't do much traveling as a child. Unfortunately, I would have loved to, but didn't. My travels were going to a beach.
Oh, I mean, there could be worse places to go.
Yeah, but my big thing was when I went in and started with this agent, and that's when it really started. And we've been, well, with the exception of COVID, we take either 2 to 3 trips a year.
That sounds pretty amazing. Abby, tell me a little bit about your agency and some of the areas of expertise and why you focus in those areas.
Okay, I basically focus in on land tours, that being tour companies. I do some FITs with land. Unfortunately, I just hate to say this online to prospectives, but I just don't like the mass market cruises. I do river cruising and land cruising. And I've become very proficient in those areas. And in fact, one of the tour companies or 2 of the tour companies have even asked me to quit Avoya and come work for them. But I keep telling them no.
That's funny. And it really does go to the heart, because we do hear sometimes from people who reach out to us and ask questions, and they say, does Avoya Travel only sell cruises? And of course, being one of our top agents, Abby certainly can answer that question and say no, because right, Avoya has some amazing resources and some amazing partnerships with the tour operators as well, right, Abby?
Yes, very, very good. And they, offer us great deals that we can pass on to our clients, which is nice. And that always helps when you've got some really good promotions going.
Yeah, absolutely. Our marketing team does an amazing job with that. Speaking of resources, what Avoya Travel resources that you're able to access by being a member of the Avoya Network do you use in running your agency? And could you speak to those for a moment on how they help you run a successful agency?
Well, with Avoya, I love the live leads. That is the biggest thing that I can say is I'm not a person who will go out and market myself or that type of thing. I mean, I've had some people I've talked to and stuff, but mostly I like the idea that they give me the leads. I can follow up with these leads and make some friendships with some of my clients, as we were mentioning earlier before we went on air. And I just like the fact that they have the live leads. Their computer system is very easy to work with. They have a tremendous staff behind the scenes that if you have a problem, they're there to help you.
We certainly appreciate those really kind words about those who work for Avoya Travel. And it certainly, resonates very, very true. You and I met in some ways many years ago when I was an affiliate with the network. And then when I decided to come to the employee side, you actually took over my book of business. So
yes, I did.
Abby and I go way back. And one of the things I wanted to just follow up on the concept of live leads for a second, Abby, is that sometimes there's a perception that even though they remain Avoya's clients, that you don't get an opportunity to continue to work with them. Could you speak to the fact that these clients do return to you and that you are able to have repeat clients and work with some of the same clients on all of their trip requests going year after year? Is that correct?
Correct. I usually, when I do my, whenever they go away, I will, wish them a happy trip, send a little tidbits to them about travel. When they come home, I will always send a welcome home little note to them. And then I usually sometimes will follow up actually this week I was in here typing up a couple of Happy Mother's Day notices to some of my clients. But I do follow up with them, or a birthday or a holiday time. I always send out little memos to them.
Yeah, those little touch points are certainly very important as far as
right. And then they do come back to me.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been hearing
I have some that I've had for years.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, in repeat business, I mean, you don't have to sell yourself to them again. Right now, it's just really focusing on meeting their needs, finding out where they want to go, learning more about them, and then just making that a successful venture. We've been hearing so many positive surveys, recently about what the expected travel patterns for this year, for 2023, 2024. But as somebody who's kind of like boots on the ground and dealing with this on a day-to-day basis, what is the reality of that, Abby? What are you hearing from clients right now? Are they excited to travel? Are they still proceeding with caution?
I have both. I have some that can't wait to get out and go and go, go, go. I have some that are a little trippy because of the COVID restrictions still in place, even though they are changing daily, but for the most part, I think most of my people that I get are anxious. They're ready to go.
That's good. Clients that are anxious to travel is always a good thing, right?
Yeah, and I've been booking for 2023 and for 2024 as well as this year.
So it's a mix. I mean,
it's
people are still looking forward and getting locked in on probably some of the best tours, the ones where the space probably sells out pretty quick and things like that, I would imagine, right?
Yes.
Abbey Mopsick, owner of Abbey's World Travel LLC, an independent agency in the Avoya Network, is our featured Meet the Network guest today here on Deck with Avoya. Abby, what kind of advice would you offer someone that's new to the travel industry on the type of research they should do, what kinds of things they should consider important as far as building a new agency from the ground up?
Well, first of all, I would say if you're thinking of coming in, and we hope you come to Avoya, you take all the Avoya training that they offer you, and I believe it's free. I'm not 100% sure on that. I believe it is. Yes. At least it was when I started.
It is. Yeah, it's all part of the affiliation for sure.
But I would say the best thing is once you've done the training, you kind of get an idea of where you want to specialize. The big thing is specialties. Specialize in a certain area, specialize in cruises, land. I think the new thing now coming out is the all-inclusives in the islands, that type of thing. And then just learn as much as you can. Go on the websites to the various vendors, do some Googling on some of it. I'm still Google sometimes, something to look up something. And the big thing is just to, if you're in Avoya, I know they have the mastermind program and they have the forums now, I think it is. What are they calling them now?
Yeah, I mean, we still have the academies at sea.
The academies at sea, all that. Participate, get into those, and that's a great way of learning. But the big thing is to know, don't get a lot of specialties, narrow it down to just a few and concentrate and know everything you can about that one particular vendor.
Yeah, make yourself an expert, and
whether it's a land, whether it's a cruise,
for sure. I mean, one of the things that we talk about and all the time is the word engagement. And you really hit it on the head there, Abby, because you have to be engaged, right, with our industry. You don't keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on, you're going to fall behind pretty quick. But you also have to keep engaged with the idea that you run and own and operate a business. So I think the more people are engaged with that thought, the stronger they're ultimately going to be. And again, we're always happy to answer all of their questions if they put that request in and reach out to Avoya Travel. Right. Abby, let's chat for a second about you, the person outside of travel. What kind of things keep you busy and excited when you're not running your agency?
Well, let's see. My family is very important to me. And so we do a lot of things with my family. We do some family trips together. As a matter of fact, we're doing a family trip this summer. We've done several cruises together. Just being a pal with my granddaughter, who we've bonded very well with. And she keeps me busy running around with all of her activities. And I do a lot of reading in the evenings, that type of thing. So I find little things around the house to keep me busy.
For sure, absolutely. And having that close connection with your family certainly is pretty amazing. And you touched on the idea of trips and family trips, but what about some trips that you have been lucky enough to take as far as being in the travel industry and being part of the Avoya Network? I know you said that you and your husband, Stuart, were lucky enough to take a couple of trips per year pre-COVID. So what are some of the amazing places that you've had a chance to visit?
That we visited, well, we've been to Ireland several times, Scotland, we've been to Italy, Australia, Japan, China. I don't know, we've been so many. I've done several river cruises up and down the Rhine, up and down the Danube, Paris to Normandy. I mean, we've been quite a bit around places, a lot of traveling in the United States as well.
Because let's face it, we live in a pretty amazing country, and it certainly has some unbelievable places that are worthy of your time and your vacation budget to visit.
Yep.
Now, what about future trips that might be on the horizon? Anything that you're looking forward to coming up?
Well, as I mentioned with my family, we are going to be traveling to Italy this summer.
How exciting.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. My granddaughter's been studying Roman history this year, so she wants to go to Italy. So I said, okay, so we're going to go take her to Italy.
Cool. What parts of Italy are you guys visiting?
We're going to do the whole country, Florence, Rome, Venice, down to Naples, Capri, Pompeii, the whole thing.
Nice. Sounds like a pretty amazing trip, and certainly should be a highlight for everybody involved. So Abby, one last question before we let you go. And this is one I ask all of our guests, and it's pretty simple. What is your feelings about the future of leisure travel, despite everything that our industry and everybody's been through the last couple of years?
I think it's going to come back strong. I think it's coming back. It's slow, but I think it will eventually, once this epidemic becomes a pandemic or goes away, whichever, hopefully go away, I think things will really open up and people will get out there. I think people are excited to start traveling.
Yeah, well said, Abby. Abbey Mopsick, everyone, owner of Abby's World Travel LLC. Abby, thank you again for that great discussion. It was wonderful to be able to feature you and your agency and your amazing success, and nothing but my best to you and Stuart.
Thank you.
Next week, we welcome back Steve Hershan, Senior Vice President of Sales. Steve will be joining us for an Avoya Insider discussion on the first part of 2022, what Avoya Travel is expecting for the rest of the year, and why travel advisors are so vital to the process and the stars of the Avoya Network. We look forward to having Steve join us again next Thursday at our normal time, 11:15 a.m. Pacific, 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so let's talk about some resources, whether or not you're new to the travel industry, whether or not you're an experienced travel advisor, because we have resources that are able to meet you where you are on your journey in this industry. If you're new, wow, our Foundations for Early Success program can help you establish the best set of practices, really start to resonate with clients, take those beginning steps and start to move your way up the ladder of success in the travel industry. Now, maybe you're an experienced travel professional and you're just looking for a new home because you want to take your business upward to that next level. Well, we certainly can help you with that as well. Gain access to marketing, technology, support, everything you need to take that business to a new level, we certainly can help you with. It's the reason why Avoya Travel has been voted the #1 host agency by the industry 7 years running now, because we have the best in class resources that can make a real difference, and we'd love to hear from you. So please reach out to our website at avoyanetwork.com. It's really the best place to start your journey. You're going to get a lot of information. Our FAQ is on there. You can put in a request so we can get you connected with a network expansion specialist. They can answer all of your questions. Of course, you're more than welcome to reach out to me directly. Pretty easy guy to get a hold of. There's my email, chris.greene@avoyatravel.com. You can always call us on our toll-free number, and we'll certainly be happy to have a conversation with you as well. We just want to start that conversation because I think once we start the conversation, you'll really get an idea of how deep our resources run and what a difference they can make for you and your travel dreams. So thank you so much for being part of this week's On Deck with Avoya. Big thank you to Abbey Mopsick for being our featured guest this week. Big thank you to Marissa and Annabella in marketing for doing a great job, as always, with this week's On Deck with Avoya. And until next week, have a great week, everyone.